ARKNIGHTS is nearing its 6th-year anniversary, and with the release of Exile Altar and Lemon, I thought this would be the perfect time to help new players, or anyone thinking of starting, get into the game. So, whether you have already started playing or not, I'm gonna give my personal best tips on how to start correctly your journey in ARKNIGHTS. At first, the main menu can be a little bit overwhelming, so I'm going to explain every important thing that are on it. First of all, there are 4 currencies as you can see on the top right corner of the screen. A random, Origin Prime, and Sanity. LMD is known for being the main monetary currency in ARKNIGHTS. It might seem like you have a lot at first, but you'll quickly realize how fast it spends itself. That's why a feature in the game called the base, that I will talk about later, is really important. Next up is a random. A random is your gacha currency. It makes you able to roll on every character or banner that you're interested in. One singular headhunt, that's how we call pools, costs 600 random, hence a multi costs 6000 random. The daily mission gives you 100 per day in exchange of playing a little bit of the game. And if you do the weekly mission, you will be rewarded with 500 random. There is also another game mode that is called Annihilation that gives you 1200 per week at the beginning and 1800 random when you complete everything. When I'm doing this video, this is something quite special, but we have the recommended monthly card, which gives you a little of the taste of the monthly cards, which is available for every players, and the rewards are 200 random per day and a sanity potion, exactly the same thing that you get with the monthly card. Now let's talk about Origin Prime. Their purpose are either for buying skin, to pull on banners, or to refill your sanity gold. One Origin Prime can be converted for 180 random, but I recommend you to not convert them beforehand, and only use them as emergency funds. They can be obtained throughout the game every time you first clear a mission in the game, such as the main story, the challenge mod, the events, or even the supplies mission. So, let's say you want a skin for your favorite operators, well, you can basically get them for free. A quick disclaimer is that I mentioned that you can refill your sanity for one Origin Prime, but it's really better to save for skin or pool, since you can get sanity potion elsewhere, which I'm not going to talk about. Last is the sanity section. The sanity is your stamina system. With it you can play, and guess what? Without it you're stuck. The main way to get sanity potion is by clearing the weekly mission, and you will get 2 times a 120 sanity refill potion. Another way is if at any moment you decide to buy the real monthly card, not the recommended one, for $5, well, know that you will receive a 80 sanity potion every day for a whole month. I know it can be pricey, but if you want to take a pack, it really remains the best value pack out of all the game. I mentioned earlier rolling for your characters, so I'm going to talk about summon and operators. In ARKNIGHTS, there are 2 different ways to summon your operators, either by summoning them in the Headhunt section or to recruit them. But you might be asking yourself, but what's the difference between them? Well, the recruitment tab is basically a free way to get operators in exchange of just waiting a little amount of time. Those operators can go from 1 star to 6 star. If you get lucky, you can get the 6 star top operator tag that basically guarantees you a 6 star with a free features. On the screen, you can see that I have 3 different sections with Recruit Now written on. When clicking on them, I'm greeted by a panel with a time section and a job tags section. Those job tags are to increase the odds at getting a certain operators. Let's say I want to get Cruise. I'm going to put a sniper tag and I'm going to set the timer to 7 hours and 40 minutes. Why this timer? Why 7 hours and 40 minutes? Because it's the minimum amount of time you can get a 3-star minimum. So, if you want to be efficient, it's probably better to always set the timer to 7 hours and 40. Now that you have set your tag to 7 hours and 40 minutes, if you're in a hurry or just want to recruit more operators, you can expedite it by using expedited plans. Those red tickets will automatically skip the recruitment time and makes you able to see what you got directly. Take note that there are 2 exceptions that can make you put all the thing at 7 hours and 40 minutes. The first one being that if you have a top operator tag or a senior operator tag, the top operator tag guarantees a 6 star, while the senior operator guarantees a 5 star. The top operator tag, it's the only way you can get 6 star by recruitment, meaning that if you get, let's say, a combination that normally would give you a 6 star, if you don't have the top operator tag, it will not work. In this case, check on krooster the tag that you have and which operator you're interested in. Put the timer to 9 hours and use an expedited plan to see what you got. The other exception is if you have the robot tag. Since they are 1 star, the maximum amount of time you can put to still get the rarity is 3 hours and 50 minutes, but I often get disappointed as the tag doesn't always land on. I'm going to link all the useful external resources, such as krooster recruitment tag combination, to help you know if you have more than a 3 star available in your recruitment, or just something interesting. Next up is the Headhunting section. It's a really big section, so I'm gonna try to be the most complete possible in my explanation, and well, do excuse me if I miss something. There are 3 main type of banners in ARKNIGHTS: the standard, the limited, and the kernel. Those 3 banners are different in their own way. The standard banner is the most common banners out of all those 3. All the characters that release in those banners get added to the standard summoning pool directly after their banner ends. So, if you miss the current operators, as long as he isn't labeled as limited, he will be directly available in the standard headhunting pool. And who knows, maybe you will get it after many wasted pulls. Standard banners are regular banners often lasting for 2 weeks with a particular rate up 6-star operators. So, this particular operator makes an appearance at a 50 fixed rate, and if you lose the 50-50 and don't get the rate up operators, you will get one of the many operators that release after the 2nd anniversary. While the 6-star operate average to 33 pool, there are certain rules. As written here, it states that in all the standard headhunting, if you have not obtained any 6-star operators after 50 roll, the odds of getting 6-star operators will be increased from 2% to 4% in the next roll. And it goes by until you attain 100. This means that after 50 pull, you will get 2% more chance to get your operators, meaning that the hard PT is at 99 pull, because at this point you will either have the characters or be at 100%. A while ago, ARKNIGHTS decided to add the focus selection. Basically, if you don't have the rate of 6-star by 150 pull, the next 6-star that you will roll will be guaranteed to be this one. One good thing about standard banner is that the PT shares itself with the other standard banner, meaning that if you pull 40 times on Ascalon and don't get her, you will still be at 40 for the next standard banner. The only thing that doesn't carry over is the guarantee after 150 pull. If you hit it and don't get the current character, the next standard banner will not offer you to directly have this particular 6-star as your next 6-star. On a side note, there are certain standard banners that release with event that eventually rerun approximately 1 year after the first run, but certain doesn't rerun at all. As I mentioned earlier, let's now talk about the Kernel banner. This banner has been introduced with episode 12 and features operators that are no longer in the standard headhunting banners. This banner doesn't show the same PT as standard, and even if it did, I don't recommend summoning there at all. You're better off pulling on the standard and getting the rate up 6-star or even enough rate than probably getting an outdated operators. The reason I'm so harsh with Kernel is that among those numerous operators, not only you can get the best of them with voucher, starter headhunting, but also because the good operator can be counted on one hand. And I'm not even joking. So don't really bother with Kernel as a beginner. Last but not least, I'm going to talk about the limited banners. Those banners are available during ARKNIGHTS celebrations, such as the anniversary, the thank you celebration, the Chinese New Year, and the summer carnival. They are spaced every 3 months and they never rerun. In those limited banners, you have 2 rate of 6-star, the limited operators and the standard operators. These banners always starts at 0 PT, meaning PT from the standard doesn't carry over, and you will start at 0 regardless. At the beginning of every celebration, you get a lot of freebies, such as a free 10 pull, 1 free single for 40 days, and furthermore. So those are probably the best time if you want to get started while we're rolling to have a best start. One thing to note is that the rates are really different from other banners. In those limited banners, you have a fixed rate 70% chance to get both operators, because one is 35 and the other one is 35. So it's not a 50-50, but it really is, well, you can either calling a 70-30 or 35-35 and then after 30 to get enough rate. Another thing is that you can get past limited operators if you get 300 pulls, which is, well, quite a lot, but that really is the only way to actually spark them. But still, one of the things that is listed in those banners is that there are always 3 limited operators that are going to have a certain weight. Their weight are not the same as the other off rate. They are going to be 5 times less rare than other off rate. So let's say you're pulling, technically it lists itself, let's say you have Mizuki Seilish, etc. For them it's going to be Necros, 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 Necros. So it's how they add the 5 times more weight onto them. But it really is nothing important. But if you get lucky, it means that you can get them as off rate, and you have more chance of getting them as off rate than any other operators that are not past limited. I said that there was only 3 types of banners, but since December 3 of 2024, every player that creates an account will have a special starter exclusive Headhunting banners. This banner is permanent as long as you don't make the 20 pulls, so it is recommended that you get a good starter by summoning unlimited or standard banner that you like or with operators that are strong, and then after to use the leftover to actually pull on this banner to get your 6-star. The most common recommendation is Silver Rush, and he is followed by turns, but we'll talk about it in a bit. Okay, now we're going to talk about something that is really important, because when you're playing Arknight, you're playing with operators. So now I'm going to describe everything that is going on with those operators. So in Arknight, each operator has a rarity, going from 1 to 6-star, a deployment cost, which means how much deployment cost is needed to deploy them on the field, a block count, meaning how many enemies an operator can hold at the same time, an attack range that varies depending on the class and even the subclass, a redeployment time, which means after being retreated there's a certain time before you can use this operator again, and this number that you will see is the redeployment time. They have skills, which are active abilities that trigger during the battle. Depending on the rarity, operator can have more than 1 skill. For example, 1 to 3-star have only 1 skill, 4 to 5-star have 2, and 6-star always have 3. They have talents, passive bonuses that, well, apply automatically, you don't need to do anything, it's just they're there. And there's the potential, which are like small upgrades from dude, and when I say small, it's like really small. And there's also the trust, which is a little bit increase in stat, and obviously a class. In Arknight there are 8 different classes, each divided into subclass, but I'm just going to talk about the class. So there's the Vanguard, the Guard, the Defender, the Sniper, the Caster, Medic, Supporter, and Specialist. I'm going to do a quick 30-second rundown of every class to make it simple. Vanguard. They generate DP and make you able to deploy other operators. Simple as that. Guard. Melee, range, ground, aerial DPS. They can do everything and nothing at the same time, but they are mainly DPS. Defender. Big HP, big defense, big block count, they tank. Sniper. They are deployed on range tiles and attack from distance. Deal with low defense enemies. Caster. Same as Sniper, but they deal with high defense and low resistance enemies by using odds damage. Medic. Heal? Supporter. They buff, debuff, summon, sometimes even more. Specialist. A bunch of unemployed people forcing you to read their kits because they all do different things and they're very unique. I mentioned our damage while talking about the caster earlier because it's one of the 2 main type of damage in the game, the other being physical damage. These 2 react differently depending on the enemy's defense or resistance. Casters are generally arts DPS, while snipers are generally physical DPS. When you click on a stage, you have an enemy info next to the map, and you can use it to see whether or not the enemy is weak to either physical damage or odds damage. Being able to plan correctly and reading are the most important thing. When people say EN players can't read, it's genuinely because people refuse to read the boss mechanics and then come and complain. To upgrade operators, you will need particular resources, battle records being the XP, LMD as money, different materials that you can get and from throughout the game, and chips, a resource that can, most of the time, only be obtained by farming a supply stage. The benefit of promoting your operators is that they will gain a stat increase and it will make them able to learn new skill and gain new talent, since certain of them are locked behind promotion. We call those upgrade Elite 0, Elite 1 and Elite 2. You've maybe heard of the term Elite 2, which basically means that your character is at the highest possible level of promotion. Before continuing to the next section, I'm going to do a quick stop for something that I feel is really important, and it's the choice of the operator in the free voucher that are given by the game. First of all, in the senior operator voucher, you will always get to choose between 4 operators: Telopsis, Lapland, Spectre and Cliffheart. 99% of the time you will pick Lapland. The other one left is if you already have Lapland, and in this case, just pick Telopsis. At day 5 of consecutive login, you will have the choice to get a 6-star for free. The base pick will always be Silver Rush as a beginner, but as I said, do not get tempted to take an operator directly because you have the capacity to do it. Wait after you've pulled on the beginner Headhunting to see who you got, and if you already got Silver Rush, just pick Thorns. He's the second best. And for the third choice, it's either between Saria and Mountain, but in my honest opinion, I think Saria would be better than Mountain since you're going to get an E2 relatively quick. You will be given a senior operator training invitation later, and this item makes you able to Elite 2 an operator of your choice without using any resources. In order to use it on one of the best 5-star, you will need to progress into the story mode. When you will have cleared the first chapter, well, to be more precise, 1-10, you will be able to access Dussel's Holiday in the summertime bait storyline. Play it a little until you recruit the welfare called Tequila. Next up, use your instant E2 on him and maximize his skill until level 7, and you will be set to get carried by him. Next up is going to be the last section for this video. It's the game mods. As I mentioned earlier, the main story you need to actually complete, get through it, read the lore, do everything. Well, it's up to you. I'm not here to dictate what you need to do. After that, one of the most important things to do in the game is to play an event to the fullest. Not only do they reward you by playing it with better material drops on stages, but it also gives you a ton of resources through the shop, such as pools, LMD, enhancement material, and much more. And you also gain Origin Prime when you first clear them. One of the rules is that even if you struggle to clear it, farm it, because it's always worth to pour all your sanity in those stages, because it's always worth it. Events are often in 2 or 3 different parts. Most events start with the story and farming stages. We call them normal stages, following with phase 2, letting us challenge those EX stages. There's usually nothing to farm from them, so you can just beat them once. And that's usually how it ends. Since Bubble was originally a 3-week event, we had more level to play with, hence the 3 different parts. Supply stages. Those are rotating stages that come and go depending on the day of the week. There are 6 different types of supply stages. The Tactical Drill, made to farm XP to promote operators, and the Cargo Escort, that is made to farm LMD. But those 2 levels, well, you never really farm it. It's not worth the sanity cost. And it will be better to actually build a base, which is one of the most important things in order to get passive income of LMD and XP, so that you will never touch those godforsaken stages. Except for the first time clear, obviously. I will link you the Google Doc in the base combo guide. It's an incredibly useful guide that will help you even in the end game. Talking about base, resource search. Those are material made to upgrade the base, so early on, you will probably spend a lot of time farming those stages. Next up is Stall Siege. Your purpose are to buy cheap catalysts in order to upgrade 5 and 6-star operators, and other than that, you get them by doing dailies, and it can serve to buy operators. I'll make a dedicated video about the store because there's a lot to cover, and this video alone will probably be a lot to take in one go. Finally, the last 4 stages are the cheap stages. We'll 100% need to farm them if you want to promote certain operators to E1 and even E2. But be careful, because those are time gated. So, as you can see on the screen, I can access it every time I want. Next is the Annihilation Operation. They are the main source of random that I mentioned at the beginning. In this mod, you will go through 400 enemies without a passive DP regeneration. So, make sure to deploy your vanguard first and to generate as much DP as you can. On my screen, it's written that the limit is 1800, but on yours, if you're a beginner, it will probably be 1200. Why? Because there are conditions to get those plus 600 random weekly. First one being to clear the free permanent annihilation mission. The Chernobyl will not give reward directly, but you still need to clear it. Lungman Downtown will enhance your random cap by plus 25 for each 100 enemy killed until 400, while Lungman Outskirt will give you plus 50 for every 50 kills you do until 400. So it makes it 1700? Well, yes, because every 6 weeks there's a rotating site on a map based on a past event. To get those last plus 100, you will need to full clear a rotating annihilation, and you will be set. There's also a way to skip annihilation because you will come to see that those are really long. When you are doing your dailies, you will get proxy cards, and they make you able to skip annihilation and get the reward instantly. I'm not really going to talk about things like integrated strategies or reclamation algorithm or even contingency contract, because I feel like those game mods are really made for mid-game to end game, so I don't think it's really good to talk about them in a guide made for beginners, but I'm still going to talk about them. Contingency contract is you have a map and you add risk to them to make it even harder, and it's really that, but I think that, well, you will get it by playing. Integrated strategies, it's a roguelike mod. It's really fun, so I can only recommend it, but I think that there are a lot of guides that are available for each integrated strategies, so you need to check it. And the same goes for reclamation algorithm. I know there are a lot of things that I didn't really cover, such as the shop, but well, I think that I don't want to make a video that is going to be an hour long. I don't even know how long it's going to be, but I know it's going to be quite a lot to take in, so I might as well continue to do those. I mean, for the shop I'm definitely going to do it because it's something that I need to cover, but except for that, if you have any question and you want to ask me something about things that I missed, or if you want to correct it, because I don't think this will be 100% correct, it's not the ultimate guide that is right at 100%, so if you have anything to say, just let me know, and I hope it was great. See ya!